2018 Jaguar F-Type car review. First they came for your compacts, therefore we didn't speak out because we didn't much care. Then they came with the regular sedans, as well as the promise of turbocharging bought both our silence and tacit assent. But now the insidious forces of downsizing came for our sports cars, and there's nobody left to see our pain. The good points of 2018 Jaguar F-Type: strong torque response, less mass-reduced price than previous F-Types. The bad points of 2018 Jaguar F-Type: no manual gearbox offered, seems like a 4-cylinder, price still above Porsche 718s. Porsche's decision to relocate the 718 generation on the Boxster and Cayman from your zinging flat-six to some turbocharged flat-four could possibly be justified through the brand's long association with smaller engines, through the 4-cylinder 356 onward. But Jaguar doesn't have such historical excuses with the shrink ray it's got applied on the F-Type's power plant, with all the new 2.0-liter base model marking the very first time this British brand has produced a fancy car with less than 6 cylinders. The power plant you want is Jaguar Land Rover's newly developed Ingenium turbocharged gasoline inland four engine, said being rolled out throughout most from the Jaguar and Land Rover range promptly and delivering an amazing amount of firepower inside F-Type. It might be short on both cylinders and displacement when compared to its predecessors, though the peak 296 horsepower is more than the Jaguar XJS made from your 5.3-liter V12 inside early 1990s. Jaguar is predictably keen to own us perceive the brand new power plant as something aside from an economy option, and, although the 4-cylinder will drop the entry-level price for that range slightly, the biggest benefit may be the claimed pairing of 115 pounds of mass when compared with all the 3.0-liter V6 that now sits above it from the range hierarchy. The 2.0-liter is going to be available simply with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Jaguar execs admit that their expensively engineered 6-speed manual transmission offered in V6 F-Type models is selling in disappointingly small numbers. There won't be an all-wheel drive option while using smaller engine, either. Jaguar asserts switch the 2.0-liter automatic will dispatch the 0 to 60 mph benchmark in 5.4 seconds, or 0.1 second quicker versus the company's claim to the previous base model, a 340 horsepower V6 together with the manual. The only stick-shift F-Type we've tested would be a coupe equipped using the stronger 380 horsepower V6, which appends an S for the name and ran to 60 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds. Visually, the 4-cylinder model is distinguished business F-Types when you are limited to some single central exhaust pipe within the middle and the rear bumper. LED headlights and Jaguar's and Control Touch Pro infotainment system are standard, adding some additional value beyond that given because of the 4-cylinder's slightly low price. The coupe is $60,895 weighed against last year's base of $62,395 for just a manual V6. The convertible costs $63,995 to last year's $66,395. Lacks little on the road. We drove the brand new car over some from the same roads in North Wales that Jaguar's engineering team made extensive usage of during its development. This is a land place that the asphalt is usually as challenging because syntax, the fast A470 that links between Coed with Blaine Fastiniag is very notable on both counts, and this smaller engine F-Type acquits itself brilliantly. The new engine isn't one of the most natural race car power plant, being more keen to provide low-down grunt than high-revving excitement. With the gearbox in manual mode as well as the car to use more aggressive dynamic setting accessed via a checkered flag switch next to the gear selector, it isn't hard to find the engine's rev limiter, at 6,750 revolutions per minute in third and fourth gears and 6,500 revolutions per minute in higher ratios. Left to its own devices, though, the transmission always shifts far more detailed 5,500 revolutions per minute in which the engine's output peaks, but the gear changes are prompt and smooth. While there's a huge amount of noise under enthusiastic use thanks to your roaring exhaust system, and also some pops and bangs if the driver lifts from the accelerator, there's never any doubt that you're listening with a four-cylinder soundtrack, which sounds, frankly, incongruous in the 2-seat Jaguar. It's usually the one area in which the basic F-Type feels clearly inferior to its 6 and 8-cylinder siblings, although under gentle utilize the engine note fades away to your pleasing background burble. There are a few clear benefits, too. The mass reduction above the nose helps each 0.0-liter car feel markedly more agile than its heftier sisters when inspired to turn into slower corners, yet this Jag stays equally as planted every F-Type and faster turns. Ultimate adhesion one down measure lower on our skid pad, because of narrower tires and fractionally softer springs, however the four-cylinder car feels more exploitable. The engine works well for this, too. Both the V6 plus the V8 cars frequently struggle for traction, as well as the AWD versions thinks wayward when inspired to find grip over a slippery surface. Yet the 2.0 liters lower output and gentler power delivery mean it never feels tailupy, regardless if a typical Welsh rainstorm rolls to slicken the path surface. This new base F-Type might lack raw power compared to using the previous one. Nonetheless, it can be driven with a far higher portion of its potential often. As a result, it lacks little over its higher-priced siblings with regard to raw world pace, or even thrills. Unlikely to dominate US sales. Apart from the bland soundtrack, both the 0.0-liter F-Type may seem like a convincing expansion from the model range. Yet we realize its appeal continues to be honed for the people parts from the world where gasoline is more pensive than vintage wine and where buyers pay punitive taxes according to displacement, power output, or CO2 emissions. None of the applies over these United States, and we all suspect that a lot of US buyers continue to opt with the brawnier and better-sounding V6 and V8 versions, rapidly savings offered from the four-cylinder. Then there's the tiny matter with the Porsche Boxster and Cayman. Even this four-banger F-Type still features a significant price premium over what exactly are currently our two favorite sports cars, as you move the Ingenium could not make any more power as opposed to base 718s. Americans able to pay more to the Jaguar will likely choose one of that more powerful engines.